Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins, and before I start, the coins we're going to look at today, obviously being Matic, but including a couple of the other IEOs, do carry quite a lot of risk, so just bear in mind this is definitely not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. These coins carry enormous risk, but with risk comes potential reward. However, like I say, this could be risky. So we're on the eve of Bitcoin essentially, being bullish and confirming its bottom is in, and maybe beginning the year within the next month or two, going back to where it started this time last year, really, which is where a bottom had kind of formed, and we're waiting for confirmation that that bottom is in. That will basically mean rallies across the board, Bitcoin rocketing, and sentiments rising, and top altcoins are already seeing some of that movement alongside Bitcoin. So what does it mean for some of these other coins, like the IEO coins, the coins that often like to make enormous moves? Well, currently they're not really doing a great deal, but that doesn't mean that they won't. So let's have a look at those charts then today, and we're just going to be looking at three. We're going to be looking at Matic, of course. We're going to look at one, and Harmony one, and we're also going to be looking at BitTorrent token. I know you can shoot me, but I do have a bit of a feeling about BitTorrent token, and I could be completely wrong, but it doesn't look as bad as you might think. Anyway, just a brief overview of Bitcoin. We're dancing around within this cloud. Once we break out of this cloud, we've got to break above the 200 simple and the 242 and get our way above pretty much our high areas here where these wicks ended, pretty much here, 9,500. Closing a candle above that area would pretty much, to me, confirm that we're going to go bullish again. It's very unlikely that we'll break down significantly from there. We'll be consolidating, no doubt, but we will basically, I believe, be bullish at that point, full stop. So that's all there is to it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin could clearly break down from here, but it's very unlikely that we're going to be coming back down to break beneath the 6,600 area. So that very first opportunity for it to bottom, and if you watch my videos, you know that I've been talking about this for a while, that there was several opportunities for it to bottom. This would be the first one, and it did actually bottom out at this level. It would appear that it has bottomed out now. I kind of do believe that it's bottomed out. We could come down to retest it, but to break it would be, at this point, pretty unlikely. But testing it, that's not out of the car. That's not something that's completely unrealistic. We could quite easily come down to test it, but we're not going to break it. So where we're going to go from here with Bitcoin, well, like I say, within a range of about $1,000, as low as 7,000, perhaps as high as, well, the sky's the limit. So let's start off by looking at BitTorrent token. So BitTorrent token looks pretty crap, to be honest with you. When you look at it on daily, it looks awful. It's fallen all the way down from here. Let's measure that out from top to bottom. We have basically an 85% retracement. That's the sort of move down that you'd expect after a parabolic move, which is kind of what we did have there. So we sort of moved from this area here. I mean, we started off down there, but I'm not going to measure that. I'm going to measure it from here, because this was a lot of movement, a lot in a small space of time. 20 days, 207%, and then slow correction, consolidation, bear movement, whatever you want to call it, all the way down to this level here. So is this the bottom? Well, I'll be looking at some of these other coins, and it would suggest that maybe we did bottom out, because we touched this level here, and without having to list all the zeros in front of it, I'm just going to mention the actual numbers. So that's 2609. That's where essentially our bottom was, and that was 25th of November. We came down there to test a couple more times here in December, about a month later, and we've not revisited that low yet. Daily chart looks unbelievably bad, but when you have a look at the MACD, it's basically been steady away all the way up to this level up here, steady away all the way up. RSI also looks kind of steady away up, and actually with a coin that's so horrendous and so bad, the volume's not too bad for it, to be honest with you. So there is liquidity in this coin, despite its terrible moves of recent. We go down to a lower time frame like the 4-hourly. Considering that the indicators such as RSI and MACD look okay, we need to go down to the smaller time frames to see where we stand, to see if there's any kind of signal with moving averages, because we've been flat as a pancake for quite a while now. Something's got to give at some point. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a lot of moving averages kind of converging towards each other, something that we've not seen pretty much for a while. We had these little runs, you could call them bounces really, because we were coming out of such a big move. This wasn't ever going to be a reversal, and then we fell into the trap of the rest of the market being bearish, all altcoins being bearish, and actually the failure of BitTorrent speed to add any kind of significance to the token, which it didn't. In actual fact, I'll probably say that BitTorrent speed, as good as the technology may be, the token, there's just so many of them, there's way too many of them, and to be honest with you, I didn't find the token useful whatsoever. It's not really a project, to be honest with you, that needs tokenization, not really, but it's got it all the same. Anyway, what we're looking at now is we're looking at these beginning to slowly trickle and converge towards each other, slightly, not bullish, but slowly looking as though they might want to begin to make positive crosses, including the 200 and the 50. We are about to move into a green area here of Ichimoku cloud, which could possibly be our opportunity to get above the cloud for the first time in a while, in an organic fashion, not a pumpy fashion like this. Which means that if we get above there and we stay above there, and we get above this level here, which again I'm going to avoid all the zeros, basically 3008, that's kind of the area that we want to stay above, which is kind of where we are right now. I don't expect to stay above there for the moment, but which we could very well do. If we stay above there and we stay above there for a couple of weeks, we will begin to see positive crosses, and we might actually start to see bullish moves. And bullish moves on this coin could prove to be pretty lucrative, only because it's consolidated 85%. It's got Justin Sun behind it, and there's reason to believe that a bloke with that amount of weight behind him could perhaps maybe pump this coin to the point where the TA kicks in, and like I say, it's a large traded coin, a lot of liquidity in it, quite a big market cap, to be honest with you. It could actually go bullish again, but again, like I say, it's a terrible chart, and there's nothing about this chart currently apart from the fact that we're teasing our way towards positive crosses, to say that it's going to do anything really. But it's a bit of a gamble. Like I say, I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice. This is a risky business, and these coins are riskier than most, but rewards and risks, that you've got to balance it out. Personally, I'm looking to wait to see what happens over the space of the next probably week or so. I might throw a bit of money into this. But one of the reasons I like it is because there's always a large trading volume, considering how low in value this coin is, which makes it a little bit more attractive to me, that I can get in and out of a trade if I need to, without being done over. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Like I say, this definitely one to watch in my opinion. Matic, we've been watching this for a while, for the best part of a year almost, to be honest with you, because we like the way it moves and we made lots of profit on it. Now, a lot of people, including myself, continue to watch it because we do expect it to make big moves again. But my problem is that unlike BitTorrent token, we have what would appear to be a death cross forming. It could form any moment, but it might avoid all of this if it just decides it wants to pump, but it has to pump significantly. It's got to pump above 1.7 cent. If it can pump above there, then there's no reason why it couldn't start to do what has now become known as a Matic, which is basically huge, big, bold moves, 25, 35, 50 or more percent moves, within a few days. But again, risk, reward, if we get this death cross, I would expect a drop off. But maybe after that drop off, we could look at buying it. We've got to look at these areas of you can call them support, where we bounced from before. Recently, we bounced from 1.3 cent. We called it 1.37 cent. And we had a double bottom here after the parabolic move of recent time of 1.13 cent. All of those areas are possibilities for bounces. If all else fails, it's a 1 cent Matic, and there I would kind of expect to see a really, really big bounce, to be honest with you. Anyways, let's continue on to our next one, which is actually called One. So Harmony One, there's a lot of talk on my Telegram chat about Harmony One, and a lot of people are expecting big things from it. So I've been keeping my eye on it because one person on my Telegram group has got a pretty good track record with spotting decent projects and decent coins and breakouts before they happen. Nothing to do with TA, purely fundamental stuff, which is not my thing at all. So I can't, that's not my business. But he does seem to have a pretty good handle on these sort of things. So there's a reason to believe that there's something in it. Well, when I look at it, I see pretty low volume, and I see a relatively, I see a kind of a bearish chart, but there was similar to the way that that BTT looked, is that the MACD has been slowly edging its way up to the 0 point, which is not as good as BTT. When we go to the daily, we're actually almost there, you see, with BTT, which is another reason why I'm more bullish on that than I am with One, just going by the chart on itself. But One is having the same kind of move, but it is a little bit more bearish. However, it's sustained, it's pinching. These Bollinger Bands are so tight right now that something is going to have to give at some point. My problem being is that the green and the white are so far away from each other on pretty much every time frame, which suggests to me that it's not ready to do anything huge, and if it were to do a big move, it's probably going to be rejected first of all before we make those big moves, so which would give us an opportunity to get involved. Basically, when we see a big move, we see a rejection probably from around this, just beneath the 500 area, I call it 500, half a cent basically. From half a cent we'll probably see a rejection, and at that point maybe it'll give us the opportunity to buy in at that point. But sometimes you just miss the train altogether, and like I say, the person I know on my Telegram group does seem to have pretty good insight into these matters, and he's pretty confident that something is actually going to happen. But given this chart, I mean, we were very spiky on the 4 hourly, which looks like a bed of nails, which to me is it's more rejection than anything, because we're getting a lot of wicks from the top. So it doesn't look like it's ready to do much. I think partly is because there's not a great deal of money involved in One at the moment. The trading volume is quite low, which means that buying and selling on this token is it's like I say, without liquidity you're not going to get big moves. So these are a lot of indecisive sort of short-term scalps in a way. But again, like I say, it could do something, but the chart tells me that it's not quite ready for it. But if there is a big change fundamentally in the ecosystem or the blockchain or the technology that it employs this token, then TA is kind of thrown out the window at that point, because there can be a turning point in any technology that basically just pumps it right up. For the moment, it only just recently bottomed about, when was this? Just under a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, which for me was one of the reasons I'm not looking to gamble on this one. If something's only just bottomed, I want to see it either tested or confirmed, and since we bottomed there we bounced, but we've just been trickling back down again, you see. So I'm not too keen on it. But again, like I say, that I have someone who's very keen on this, and he just has a really good track record of spotting coins, so I'm keeping my eye on it, and I don't intend on missing out. But personally, I prefer the look of BTT over all of them. It might not be a bigger mover than One if it pops, or Matic certainly, but the chart in itself looks a little bit more optimistic than the others. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you at the moment. We're over the weekend, so we see volatility over the weekend. A lot of the stuff on the weekend I don't really count as real moves, because They can often be completely written off by Monday or Tuesday, but even so, we've been having some decent pumps with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin currently is trading above the 200 exponential, which is definitely a good sign. If we can close above the 200 exponential, that's great. We did that yesterday, we might be doing it today. If we continue to close above the 200 exponential, it might be time to go bullish on Bitcoin, which would mean that we're probably going to go bullish on the market. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you have a nice weekend, and take it easy.